Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I am back. I was away last week, sorting some things out. I did try and keep the daily cryptocurrency market videos going. We released a great video with the Moonbeam and Moon River, and of course, Pure State founder Derek Yu. We had Nils on, who goes as Imperta Lang, the Python, or not just Python developer, the guy trying to bring Python to Cardano. So we released a lot of really cool things last week, but there's no but. This week it's back to business. I am back. I couldn't avoid going away last week, but a lot of things are happening right now in the crypto space. And just to recap where we're at, me and my group took a plunge back into the crypto space at the start of the year, around about the 5th. I've shown all this before, so I don't want to show it again. Essentially having weighed up where the crypto space was at and where it was potentially at in regards to the broader macroeconomic landscape. And I've had to somewhat become somebody that pays a lot of attention to the broad macro, because it's what I got wrong going into 2022. And I've been determined, and thus far, if we've caught what was a low point, we're not saying that it's the absolute bottom for the crypto market. We don't know what the yield curve's predicting and how bad that's going to be. I'm determined to get things right and not ignore what's going on in the macro picture. And so far, last year we saved a hell of a lot of money by getting out the market. This year, we're looking to make a hell of a lot of money by potentially getting back in. And we've already taken that first step and are going to continue to do so. But anybody that wants to find out more about that, there's a link to my Patreon in the description. Gave an altcoin on Tuesday that people have doubled their positions in today, and they could take profits on that. And if your group isn't offering that, or capitalizing on what is significant upside, then what are they doing? So let's talk about it all, guys. I want to start the video off by talking about what is a bear and a bull market and what are we in right now. Just to give a broad overview of where crypto's at, and we're going to be referring to the Dow theory. The Dow theory is kind of like the father of technical analysis. And then we're going to look at a number of other things. We're going to be recapping on what took place last week. So we've said, actually, one reason that we look to put money back in the markets is we think the macroeconomic landscape is shifting and becoming more and more positive. And we're looking like the worst, or we had all these record numbers, the worst it's been in 41 years, all this stuff. Historically, you want to buy at low points. But we're going to talk about this because we're going to look at this in regards to unemployment versus the SPY, the S&P. We've done this previously to show you that they move in tangent, and when unemployment goes down, stocks typically go up and vice versa. And also it kind of shows that maybe we're in a bit of an anomaly given the fact that we've just come out of lockdowns over the past 2 or so years. How do we know? And if we're comparing old metrics that have never accounted for that, just like Bitcoin, Plan B's stock to flow, and all these on-chain gurus that built careers off literally reading Glassnode, how do we know that things aren't going to play out differently in this one? And then we're going to look at a number of other things. Really look at the fact that we think this soft landing narrative is now becoming at the forefront. And of course, we've got the CPI coming out on the 14th, which is not this Tuesday, but next. That's really going to be quite revealing. So are we in a bull or a bear market? Let's start off there, guys, before we get into anything else. Well, we're still in a bear market. Last week, we actually said that we agree with Jim Cramer, and everyone was like, what? What are you on about? Jim Cramer's the worst predictor in history. But a broken clock is right twice a day. And we said, on this one, we agree with him. We think that actually we're set for more continuation, and that you could buy the pullback that we were having going into the FOMC, and then, of course, the non-farm payroll. Non-farm payroll was actually negative for crypto because it's essentially given strength to the dollar. I still have a dollar stablecoin position. We didn't put all our money back into the crypto space. And it's not one that we wanted to get out of, even though the markets were going higher than when we had initially bought, which is good. We'd captured that, but we also hedged in case they didn't go that way. Essentially, with the dollar, it's at this kind of low point that you were going to get a bounce, if nothing more technically, and then the news kind of confirmed that. But are we in a bull or a bear market? Well, this is essentially what a bull or a bear market. When you're referring to a bull or a bear market, for me, it's not a small time frame thing. It's a 6-month plus period of time. So have you been trending up for 6 months plus, or have you been trending down for 6 months plus? And then you can look at that and say you're in a bull or a bear market. And a bull market, or an uptrend, is defined with higher lows and higher highs. Sideways trend, This is where your range trend is set up. Isn't it funny? Do you ever wonder why the price just goes in this range? Well, it's because range traders step in and you can see who's in control of the trend because you'll see where the volume's highest on either end of the range. And then a downtrend or a bear market is lower highs and lower lows. So what are we in? Because this is where we said we agree with part of what Jim Cramer was saying, but we also think has no idea what he's talking about calling this a bull market. You cannot call something a bull market until you have gone from a low point, you put in a higher high and a higher low, and then you can look at that bear market being over. If not, going into a sideways market, progressing into a bull market. And we've highlighted all the reasons why we put money back into the market technically, whether it was the bullish divergence on the RSI. We don't do death crosses. We don't really do indicators, but the RSI for me I found is a good one, certainly in regards to divergence. It shows the momentum behind the trend waning and not being as potent and maybe the conviction behind it lessening. And there was a number of other things. We're also setting up structure that I spoke about in yesterday's meeting where we're looking at potential reversal structure on a deeper level on a number of altcoins. You know, there's bullish DNA throughout the charts. But what are we in, guys? So let's get it on a log. Well, we're going to go back to school here. Don't know why we've got this in a nice thick line. This is clearly an uptrend, right? And then this is progressing into your sideways. So this is your uptrend. This is your sideways. And what is this? This is your downtrend. Succession of lower lows and lower highs after higher highs and higher lows into this sideways. Where we at? Interesting thing I want to note here is the Dow theory is great for anybody that hasn't read it. You are and have potentially broken out of this. So I'm going to take this back to, I only use these thick lines so that I could demonstrate my theory or what I'm talking about here so that all these guys calling for a bear market can shut the hell up. Or a bull market, sorry, because we're still technically in a bear market. We've not gone on to put a higher low. Okay? So you need to see some sort of base here and look for that continuation and go on. Put in a concession of higher highs and higher lows, and then you're officially, once you put in this higher high, this is a higher high, I'm going to class this as a higher high, it's not as clear cut as that. Saying that, you know, yes, you've broken out of this trend, but is this your high? I'd say it is. Because that is not a lower low than this one. So actually, you'd probably need to come and take... This is, by the way, the crypto total market cap, because we're looking at the cryptocurrency market in a trend. Let's take a look at for Bitcoin. You need to come and take 25k and above. So you need to do something like this, which I think is likely, then put in a lower, and then you're off. And then you can say at this point here, once you've reclaimed this, you are officially out of a bear market. So all these guys saying bull market this, it's technical, right? It's like the sky, the sun coming up at a certain time in a day, or that's a bad example. It's like something being, you know, us talking right now on a PC, on a computer, you know, it's something you can define quite clearly. So we're not out of a bear market yet. We need to see that. I just wanted to get that clear until we do something like this. And this is the road out. And we have said there is structure for this. Dropping down the time frames, I'll quickly share this with you guys. You know, you are potentially setting up what is a reverse head and shoulders. This is great sort of trend ending structure, bullish div. You know, there's a number of things that we've already covered. We looked at USDT dominance, etc., etc. Dollar continuing to be maybe a little bit more persistently weak than what we've spoken about. But that's that, and that's really what I want to spend the first bit of the video talking about. So, had a lot of data out yesterday. We've got all this sort of better CPI and you know, inflation coming down, Jerome Powell making comments, and I think he mentioned deflation, I think like 15 times. Fed Powell's, for the first time, we can declare that a deflationary process has begun. You know, we're getting this kind of soft landing narrative coming back into focus. Now, they did say a similar thing going into 2008. I just want to point that out, and we're not out of the woods 100% yet, but things look a lot better. The problem is with a lot of people out there, they're still very position short, right? And they might get a bit of relief on this rally to the if we get continuation to the downside, which I think, I'd like to see this. Maybe some sort of a run back to 20k would be perfect for me. Might not happen. Might have to jump on board quicker. We did highlight that you're going to get a pullback here. You also had this sort of not so pretty price action that you look like you've broken out of. But then I think we're set for more continuation. And that's my ultimate view. And soft landing narrative really coming back. This was the last dollar draw we did before we went away. We said you're even going to get the bounce here, or it's going to come down, lower down and bounce. It's going to bounce at some point. It makes sense that it bounced here, though, however, because look at where you are. Okay, but actually maybe you then set up some sort of an actual head and shoulders, which could end the dollar's broader trend. Remember also, bearish div on dollar. All you're doing as a trader and a technical analyzer and a fundamentalist or an investor is you are basically trying to stack odds in your favor of being right on the direction you think things are going. Nothing more complicated to it. Stock market as well has had a great run. Could be due a bit of a pullback. I'd like to see it. You've got a nice wick here. Someone's selling that. Although you've got elevated volume on the break, to be fair. But things look good to me, guys. And I think the more and more of this kind of... I was going to read this tweet from Andreas Sento Larsen, talking about recession, soft landing, talking about QE, quantitative easing. It's all a game of liquidity. We knew liquidity was going to go up this quarter. China reopening, if you look at what their liquidity is doing, it all paints a very similar picture. So to give a broad overview, guys, I think we're going to continue. I think we're still in the bear market until we're not. It's technical, remember, guys. Don't listen to these idiots on YouTube telling you that we're out of a bear market. It may be the case in a month or a couple of months' time, but for now, we're still in a bear market. Be mindful of that. Be pessimistic and always be optimistic when it comes to crypto because it's the future. But be realistic is the right word. And we're not calling for a bull market yet, but what we're saying is we bought in expectation that maybe we've got one chance, or we've given a caught what is pretty damn close to the bottom. And the thing is with me is I'm not really that interested in being the guy that goes, I bought the bottom or I sold the top. Most of these guys had multiple attempts at it. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. It's kind of like going to a fairground and, that game where you throw the horseshoe and you try and get it over the pole. I'd rather have 5 horseshoes to increase my chance of doing that than just the one. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. So we're expecting more continuation for the crypto market. We're not out of a bear market yet, but we think that it potentially is on the cards. We will see. 2023 is certainly going to be a better year than 2022. And remember, on top of all this, markets are consistently pricing in interest rates and where they're at. So any adjustments in that, you're going to see that echo through to the markets. All I've got for you in this video, guys. You enjoyed the content, like as always, appreciate it. So as a comment, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video.